Today's situation, critical race theory. What is it? Should we be teaching it in our schools? Oh, we're gonna have a conversation about it. Buckle up for this one. It's gonna be good.
Situations and conversations with Trey Renee. Situations and conversations with Trey Renee. Real situations, real conversations. Empowering the community leads to elevation. Entertainment and education, no better time than now. Pure enlightenment for the crowd. This is Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee.
Hey, welcome to Situations and Conversations. I'm your host, Trey Renee, and today the situation is critical race theory. Ooh, such a hot topic, right? But do you even know what critical race theory is? Don't worry, I got you covered. Today on the show to tell us all about it and then some is Dr. Shirley Jackson, friend of Situations and Conversations.
Yes, thank you.
Hi, Dr. Jackson. It's so good to have you here.
It's always good to be here.
Man, let me tell you something. As soon as people started asking me about critical race theory, I said, oh, no, I know who I need to call. And you always answer the call. So thank you so much for being here.
You are very welcome.
Taking time out from Portland State and everything, as you're a professor there in sociology, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's talk about critical race theory, please. Can you just tell people what that is before we start falling out, getting upset about having it taught?
Exactly. Okay, so this is what really got me when I first started hearing people ask about critical race theory, and then you've got the signs, don't teach our kids critical race theory. Well, critical race theory is not a course per se, and it certainly isn't something that you would teach students who are in grades K through 12.
Wait a minute. Okay, okay. Then why are there so many people having their panties in a bunch, or their boxers in a bunch, about critical race theory and teaching it to our kids when it's not even taught in elementary or even
middle or high school?
None of that.
It isn't, because I think what it is when people hear race, they immediately start thinking, okay, now you're going to tell me that I'm bad. Now you're going to make me feel bad about things in the past that I had nothing to do with. And now you're going to tell me that racism exists. Well, yes, racism does exist. But what is really missing is an understanding of how you teach history, which definitely includes race, and how you teach law students how to think critically about race and the law.
So is that what, so critical race theory is something that's taught in law school?
Yes, it has been taught in law schools for years now. And one of the things that is really interesting when I hear people talk about it is they act as though it's brand new.
And then feels like it's brand new.
Right, they act as though it's brand new, but the reason they don't know about it is because it's taught in law school. And then the other thing is they're acting as though it is something that is being taught in grades K through 12. No, it's not. They're confusing critical race theory with history lessons or political science lessons or social science or social studies lessons that include race.
I see.
But I will say this, you can actually talk about these different topics using a critical race theory framework.
Okay.
Because you can say, well, hey, let's talk about laws regarding interracial dating or interracial relationships, marriage in particular.
Okay.
Well, you have to talk about laws in order to talk about marriage. You have to talk about those laws that banned certain people from intermarrying.
Right.
And that included a lot of folks. Many people just think about, oh yes, it just includes black folks. No, it included folks who were indigenous. It included folks who were Latinx, folks who were, of Asian descent. So there were all of these laws that existed historically to keep folks from getting together.
I see. I see. So when we talk about critical race theory, people should know that this is an examination of the laws as it applies to race, and this is typically taught in law school.
Yes.
So then why? Why is this such a hot button issue? I hear all these politicians and people getting all upset about they're going to teach critical race theory in the schools and they shouldn't be. Well, they're not already. So what are we talking about?
Right, because that's just it. You can blow something out of proportion if you don't know what it is that you're talking about in the first place.
I see.
So when you have all of these people who are all up in arms, it really is symbolic of how little we actually know about our history in this country, the role that race has played in what is taught in the schools, and now what people are demanding that should not be taught. So you've got people demanding that race not be taught. That's basically what people are saying.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, Dr. Shirley, because it's no secret that we've had very candid conversations on this show, behind the scenes as well. We chat. And the school system, as it pertains to teaching accurate history, a full-bodied history of our country, not so much. It's very sugar-coated.
It is.
And so what's the problem? What is the problem with teaching our young people the actual accurate, even though it's ugly, history, so that we can learn from that and grow from that? Why do people have so many opinions about something that's actually real? This is real. Nobody's making this up. There's a history of racism in this country. It's interwoven in the fabric of America.
If you talk about it, it's going to remain. If you don't talk about it, it'll just simply go away. That seems to actually be the mindset.
Oh my gosh.
That seems to be the mindset that some people have, where if you don't talk about race, it will just simply go away. And the fact that you keep bringing it up is making it a problem, because you're making people feel uncomfortable.
That part.
And especially white people are feeling uncomfortable. Nobody wants to be made to feel uncomfortable, like they've done something bad. Well, guess what? Bad things have happened historically.
Yes.
Bad things are happening right now. And it doesn't help to act as though those things don't exist.
I agree with you. I mean, you know I agree with you there. But I have to play devil's advocate. So let's talk about this whole idea that teaching critical race theory, or even, let's just even get critical race theory out of it. Teaching accurate history of this country is going to be problematic for the white kids in the classroom. I'm just going to say it, because that's what I keep hearing, right? We're so concerned about how these kids feel. Where's the concern about how the other kids feel and continue to feel under the thumb of oppression in this country?
And the kids who also have had to look for themselves in these history books and search really, really hard. And that's the thing. I think what we are oftentimes forgetting is that when we are talking about history in this country, if we really want to talk about history and be inclusive, then that's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right.
That's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there will be times when you will feel uncomfortable. Guess what? That's okay too. All of us are going through life having these moments of discomfort. We're not always feeling good about things. And sometimes it has nothing to do with history. So are you saying that we can't have those other feelings that are bad feelings that have nothing to do with history? So I think that's the problem. We have this way of thinking that if you don't talk about certain things, it'll just go away. And if you continue talking about it, then you're making the problem worse.
Yeah, and now you're the problem.
Right, you're the problem.
Yeah, because you feel. And let me just say this before we have to go to commercial break. What's wrong with feeling? I hope that people feel bad. I hope that you feel sad when you learn about some of the atrocities and things that have happened in this country. Because if you feel that way now, hopefully you'll grow up to have more feelings that are in line with not having that situation repeated. Like ever. So to me, yeah, you should be feeling bad. Like, what's wrong with feeling bad? Sometimes you just got to feel bad to grow up. You know what I mean? To grow up and glow up into a better country, into a better person, into better all the things.
And things won't get better until we make them better.
I love this conversation. Okay, it's going to continue. You guys, please don't go away. I'm hanging out here with Dr. Shirley Jackson, and we're talking about critical race theory and racism in this country in general, and feeling. We feel the feels.
We feel.
You should too. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Self-Enhancement Inc. is the blueprint. Black founded, Black owned, Black led since 1981. What does Self-Enhancement Inc. do? Whatever it takes. We support Black students 24/7, from elementary to college and beyond. We believe that every student is created with purpose and talent specific to their unique identity. It is our collective responsibility to ensure all children have equal opportunities to thrive. If there is no food in the house, we buy groceries. If there is no family cheering section, we show up. If there's no transportation, we get them there. 98% high school graduation. More than $500,000 in scholarships awarded annually. Help us build culturally appropriate solutions by committing to contribute $10 a month right now. We need us everywhere. Invest in the Blueprint today at selfenhancement.org/blueprint.
Welcome back to Situations and Conversations. The situation today, critical race theory. I am here with my very special and knowledgeable guest, Dr. Shirley Jackson. Now, I know that you have something very specific you want to tell the people.
I want to tell everyone that all of this to do about critical race theory, it really isn't relevant when you think about K through 12 students. It is something that is taught to students in law school. So right now what we have is a lot of this fear-mongering that's going on, and I think it's not really surprising that this is coming up around the same time that we've had these discussions about social justice and Black Lives Matter. So think about what all of this means, and think about what it means in terms of trying to engage in censorship and silencing of differences of opinion.
Yeah. Well, isn't that what we do?
Yes.
They try and shut people down out here. They
Yes.
say we have free speech, but it's not really
No,
free.
we don't.
No, it's not. And so let's talk about all of this education in our schools right here
Yes.
in
Yes.
Oregon. So
Yes.
you were on the show first season
Yes.
a year ago. You blessed us with being one of our first guests. Thank you again for that. And you were talking about how there could be some changes coming down for curriculum regarding our Oregon students.
Yes.
So anything you can tell us?
So right now what they're doing is they are starting with the transitioning of including ethnic studies curriculum in the social studies curriculum in the K through 12 schools in Oregon. Not all of the schools are starting at the same time. And let's be honest, one of the concerns that I had very early on as a member of the Ethnic Studies Advisory Committee was that we have teachers who may not all be prepared for including this content into their course materials, into their curriculum.
I mean, preparedness is important, but what
Yes.
about willingness? Because I have a funny feeling with all of this being such a hot button conversation, talking about race and race relations and the history of race in this country,
Yes.
ethnic studies in general, if you are not knowledgeable, if you are not comfortable, can they just simply opt out and say, you know what, I don't want to teach this?
No, they will actually have to teach
Good.
this material. So we do have learning outcomes where students are expected to be taught and to show that they have knowledge of certain learning outcomes that are grade appropriate.
Okay.
So when we worked on these, we wanted to make sure that students who are in kindergarten understood certain things. Students in 3rd grade, 5th grade, 8th, 12th grade, everybody is understanding this material, but they're understanding it at different grade appropriate levels. And then of course the information is really not complicated at the very young levels,
Yeah.
because they're little kitties.
right?
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. They're littles. But you can see it, as it's building as they go into middle school and then going into high school, and grade by grade, they're really learning all of this knowledge that is building on information that they were getting, well, that they will have learned in earlier grades
Right.
as we go through these years. So by the time the students who are in kindergarten and 1st grade graduate, they should be really well versed in all kinds of history that their parents did not receive.
Right.
And I have to be clear on this discussion about the ethnic studies curriculum, because Oregon's ethnic studies mandate is really broad.
Is that a good thing?
Very broad. Let's just put it this way. It is so broad that people who think that it's only about ethnic studies are going to be really quite surprised because it includes so much more. So it includes LGBTQ, it includes aging, it includes religion. So there's so much more than what, you know, some people are thinking it means. I think that given the timing of this particular, you know, mandate and all of the things that have been happening related to social justice initiatives and Black Lives Matter and so forth, there may be people thinking it's all about Black people.
I see.
And that's not the case. It is about learning about indigenous peoples, you know, in the state, learning about the history of Asians in the state.
Yes.
So there's all of these different groups. So
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it really is actually so much broader than you would really think. And I think it's important for us to think about what this means to develop a society, you know, to bring something into being where people actually know history instead of being those people who are now trying to censor the knowledge that is out there because it makes them feel uncomfortable.
I love that. I'm excited about that. And I could tell you, just having kids in the school system, in the elementary as well as high school now, they're pretty tired of being called upon in the classroom.
Yes.
To represent whatever it is the lesson is. I mean, there's not that, listen, there's no secret. I'm in the Tiger Tualatin School District, which has really been in the news lately. Not for some of the best reasons. I mean, even all the way up to being on national talk shows about some of the hate speech that had gone viral. But even when those instances happen, my kids feel like, man, it's always calling and looking at us like, how do you feel? What do you want to say? What do you, and I think that there are good intentions behind that.
Yes.
But sometimes it doesn't matter. The good intentions can still cause harm because you don't know any better. Don't keep calling on the students to teach what you're supposed to be teaching.
Right, and that was really a concern for me. If you have teachers who do not know the information or who don't know it well enough, are they going to teach it in a way that is authentic? Or are they going to omit important information in telling about a particular historical event or a particular event that relates to economics, let's say, as you know, include this information in the high schools? So I think what we have to keep in mind is that it is not just simply teachers expecting the students to inform other students, but the teachers have to actually take that step, that very necessary step, and they have to be the ones to get informed. So that means getting out there, finding out what information is missing from the lesson plans that you give, and fill in those gaps.
Yeah, I agree.
Fill in those gaps.
I agree, and this is no disrespect to teachers. As a matter of fact, this pandemic has taught me to love and appreciate teachers even more, because, child, I am not a teacher. And so while I appreciate the work that professors and teachers and what you all are doing to educate our young people, I just want to make sure that you're pouring in the right way. Yes. Especially when it comes to sensitivities around ethnic studies and, you know, racial differences and the divide, which is a real thing. It's a real thing, and it needs to be addressed appropriately and ongoing, because that's the only way we're going to actually really tackle this issue that everybody says. You say that you want this to be a wrap, like you want this to be over, you don't want to have this. Well, then we have to tackle it right now.
Right.
Whew. Dr. Jackson, I feel very full right now, and I feel I'm amped up. I'm ready to start, you know, getting out there and making some change. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, you're very welcome. Always a pleasure.
Are amazing, amazing, you guys. Thank you, guys. Okay, don't go away. We're not done. No. We're coming back with Hey Trey. Okay, so just hang tight.
We all deserve the opportunity to reach our full potential. Since 1981, Self Enhancement Incorporated has been a one-stop resource for youth and families in the Portland metro area. For over 40 years, SEI has helped more than 16,000 students and families each year. SEI needs your help. Visit selfenhancement.org/donate. Your gift will change someone's life. Visit selfenhancement.org/donate to learn more.
Press release marketing is the solution for small business owners wearing way too many hats. We suggest you talk to a professional today about outsourcing your marketing campaigns and strategies. To book a complimentary consult, visit justpressrelease.com today.
Hey, welcome back to Situations and Conversations. Now it's time for Hey Trey, where you get to ask a question. Okay, give it to me.
Thanks, Trey. And we are here right on Mississippi at the amazing Southern Kitchen Comfort Food Cart.
Absolutely, Trey. We're in the community again. We have another community member that has a question for you. So take a look.
Jermaine here with Southern Kitchen PDX. And Trey, what have you done with your family to spend time during this pandemic?
And what's your favorite daytime talk show?
You already know, Situations and Conversations.
What cool ideas for family time during this pandemic. You know what? I will tell you, we have played a lot of games. We have 3 kids and they're all in different age ranges, but card games are always fun. They break up some of the monotony. Board games are always great, but I'm gonna give you a little tip. You know the icebreakers that you would play maybe at work or somewhere in a corporate setting where, you know, people are trying to get to know each other? You would be surprised at what you will find out about your family members, including your kids, your partners, maybe even your dog, playing an icebreaker. I think you should do that. And then don't forget about a jar and just put a bunch of questions in there and just have people pull them out. No one needs to know who put the question in, but you have to answer whatever you pull out. I think it's pretty fun, and it's a really good way to stay connected and actually get to know each other even better on another level. All right, we'll be right back. Urban League of Portland presents COVID Conversations.
So we keep on getting the question of why is it important to wear your mask even if you're vaccinated? So just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean that you are 100% protected from getting COVID-19. That's why it's important to wear your mask. After getting vaccinated, you should still continue practicing the COVID protective behaviors. And what are those things? 1, physical distancing. 2, washing your hands. 3, avoiding large crowds. 4, wearing your mask. But please, 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 the best tool we have to fight this pandemic is to get vaccinated and continue doing the right things, including wearing your mask.
COVID Conversations are brought to you by Urban League of Portland, empowering Black communities in Portland and Southwest Washington since 1945. For more information, head to ulpdx.org. Hey guys, welcome back to Situations and Conversations. It's now time for Artist Spotlight. My guys Asa and Javen from P-Town Media are out in the community highlighting a local artist. Who you got in the spotlight, guys?
Thanks, Trey. And we're here for another amazing week of Artist Spotlight here at the DB Nation Studios. Hey, I'm Asa Spade.
I'm Javen Harper. We are P-Town Media. Now, this artist has been seen on tour with Prince and has also had the pleasure of working with Layla Hathaway, Mike Phillips, CeCe Winans. Please help me welcome Saida Wright singing I Am Free.
Take a look.
Just me, standing alone. I can see pieces of my history fading, mistakes that I made, no longer ashamed of who I used to be. My life, every day, I'm reminded, faith of a mustard seed moves in the obstacle blocking my view, and I will move on, 'cause I'm free. No holding back, I believe nothing can stop me. I'm strong, I'm wise, paid all my dues. I will fight to the end, living my life 'cause I'm free. I'm free. Nothing is now to fight for me. It's my responsibility to manifest my destiny. Be grateful, be thankful, living fully, completely present with all that's around me. My senses overwhelmed with the beauty of love. I'm free to release the pain. Now I've broken all the chains. I stand in equality, unapologetically me. I'm free to speak my truth, no more to be used by you.
And we're back. Man, another amazing spotlight performance. Saida, we want to say thank you for that performance. Where did you get the inspiration for this song?
You know, this song really kind of came out of some hard times for me. I thought some things were over for me at the time, and in the midst of just kind of feeling despair, I sat down and I heard that beat, and all of a sudden I feel like God downloaded this idea of, no, I'm your source. Everything else is a resource. So whatever leaves you, it's not the end of the story for you. And so I just began to pen those words that I'm free, no holding back, I believe, you know, but I'll fight to the end, living my life because I'm free. So that's where that came from. It's just a reminder that I have freedom, and with God as my source, everything's possible.
Amazing. Thank you.
When did you discover your voice as a little girl?
I will say, finally hearing myself, where I shocked myself, was in high school, actually. I was at a competition, and I was just really shy. And I had a solo. I had to sing a blues solo. And I remember having an outer body experience where I was watching me. And that was the moment where I was like, oh, my goodness, that sound that I've always idolized in other people, I can produce that. So that was kind of that wake-up call for me, like, yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. Like, it was, yeah, that outer body experience was like, this is when I knew that's where you're supposed to go. You're supposed to do that every time.
Okay, amazing. We thank you again for blessing us. And back to you, Trey.
Thank you to Saida Wright. Wow, such a blessing of a voice. Thank you so much for sharing your gift with all of us. And thank you to Dr. Shirley Jackson for critical race theory and the conversation and breaking it down. Really appreciate that. And really appreciate you guys for hanging out. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back together again in a week, but until then, make sure you take excellent care of yourselves as well as each other. When you think me, think we, and when you think you, think two. We'll see you later. Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Self-Enhancement Inc., Youth Potential Realized. And thanks to our friends at Peace Health, Urban League of Portland, Holla, and Home Place Furniture and Design. Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee is a Bum Juice Entertainment production in conjunction with Thomas Chung Films, P-Town Media, Press Release Marketing, Robin Allen Style, and Hype Her Ventures. Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee, Saturdays at 10 a.m. on Fox 12 Plus.